Hello! Welcome to White Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but the readings can get dark. I am freshly showered, so I am definitely not camera ready, but I smell fresh. And that's what matters. So today I am going to be finishing off the October 1st half readings for all the zodiac signs, and I am working on Sagittarius. That's pretty on brand for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I'd say. That. Uno momento, por favor, while I get my shit together. Well, any of my Sagittarius friends want to tell me what the heck that was about? I mean, I guess we'll see once we get into the reading, but what the actual hell? Now I'm going to sort all of these because they're not even pointing the same way. I would actually, honestly, at this point, be pretty shocked if the reading turned out to be super mellow. And it's just like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's all right. I'm like, are you sure? Well, on a brighter note, I don't think I need to shuffle that again, so let's just get into it. Sag, chill, please. Starting off with the Nine of Swords, anxiety, depression, mental anguish. Sometimes these are thoughts that you can, there we go, Ten of Pentacles. Mother of Swords. Dude, we just started and I'm already tired. Three of Swords. Actually, this weather changing has not been good for my Chiari malformation, POTS, or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And I have been feeling like a beached anglerfish. Four of Wands, steady foundations, Ten of Wands. Man, you are going back and forth here. Ace of Pentacles. Whoop. Father of Cups. Yep, how many are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2 more. Five of Wands. Sounds about right. Conflict. Okay, either it's you guys or it's me, and my dexterity is just, I must have rolled a 1 on dexterity today. There we go. Four of Cups. That was a lot more work than I anticipated for just a freaking shuffle and pull. Where is my hair going? I don't even know anymore, dude. 5 minutes in, and you've already had me crawling around on the floor for cards. All right. Nine of Swords, Ten of Wands. Who's next? No. Okay. Nine of Swords, Father of Cups, Ten of Wands, Mother of Swords, Three of Swords, Five of Wands, Four of Cups. Okay. Ace of Pentacles, Four of Wands, Ten of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. So it is a lot of back and forth. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pull an alchemy card as well. And before I interpret any of this, I'm going to ask the pendulum if it has a keyword for us today. The tear. That's an interesting one. Okay. All right, let's see. Do you have a keyword for us today? P O M E G O. I totally thought we were spelling out Pomeranian. G Okay. R, A, N, A, T, E. I think that spells pomegranate. Not gonna lie, I don't know how to spell pomegranate unless I'm writing it. Okay, pomegranate. All right, so your keyword of the day is pomegranate, whatever that means to you. Now let's interpret the tear. The mourning, the release, the rain. Tears are droplets of letting go. Once they begin to fall, we allow the swelling tide of emotion to run its elemental course. Often the tear is what is needed in order for a conversation or situation to break into the next level of intimacy and vulnerability. Some say that tears are so powerful in softening our egos that they open up a portal to the unseen world. Through our watery eyes, the ancestors catch a glimpse of us, and we are reminded of their eternal embrace. We sense our humanity, our humility, and we allow ourselves to be held. It is likely this card appears when there is grieving yet to do, a sinking down into disappointment or despair that, once acknowledged, will bring a shimmer of clarity to our dewy eyes. When light, melody, melancholy flowing through. When dark, drowning, drama, murkiness. Go Deeper, Rain by Vachel Lindsay. The tear is powerful and it is possible to be subsumed in its waters. Find a supportive place to open the floodgates. If both the tear and the river appear in a reading, this indicates an excess of the water element in your life, as in the Ayurvedic tradition, balance it with fire and earth. Well, that explains the explosion at the beginning then. So the energy that I'm getting from these cards, we start off with the Nine of Swords. And I thought that, usually the Nine of Swords, Ten of Wands, Three of Swords, Five of Wands, they'd all go together in like a cluster of ache or some sort of indication of like a big bad thing that happened. But no, they told me to place it out this way. And the feeling that I got is just a general unsteadiness. So we have the Nine of Swords, that's about anguish, grief, depression, anxiety. But it feels like all of that is amplified by the thoughts in your own head rather than a circumstance. Like something happened to make you feel this way, but it's only amplifying, it's echo chambering in your own head. That's why when I see this Nine of Swords card, my advice is always step out of your own head. But we also have the Father of Cups. And the way I am experiencing this, my gecko just fell off a leaf. The way I'm experiencing this is it's like there's this burst of sadness and then a flash of memory of someone loving. And then just a deepening of the longing with the ten of Wands. And then kind of a remembering flash of what you did in this. Because the Mother of Swords is she can be harsh. And then there's Three of Swords, more pain, another wave of pain. It's almost like pain, flashback, pain, flashback. Pain gets deeper, flashback. Pain gets even deeper, flashback. It's almost like an endless loop of just a worsening mental state, is what this feels like a rabbit hole. Five of Wands, conflict. Four of Cups, letting an opportunity pass is how I always interpret that one. But what I'm getting with that one, between that and the Five of Wands, this feels like a did I do the right thing? With the Ace of Pentacles, Four of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, this feels like you land on your feet as far as material stuff in your life, but on the inside, it's like you're falling apart. Sometimes the right thing feels terrible. Like when you have to put down your dog, or you have to put down your cat, or you have to break up with someone that's a really nice person. The right thing doesn't always leave you feeling good. But I think that when we do the right thing, sometimes it can seem brutal at first, but in the long run, it was the kinder thing to do. I know this is an extreme example. Like, for example, my surgeon. Thank God she wasn't squeamish. Thank God she's a surgeon. That's her line of work. She cuts people open to save their lives. She had to cut my head open. And it's taken me almost 3 years now to heal from that procedure. But had I not had it done, I would have died. And that's kind of what this feels like. It's like you had to cut into something. You had to do something that feels horrible but is right in the long run. Alchemy is calling for me, so we'll see what they have to say about this. Yeah, a lot of this comes with a feeling of longing, loss, regret. But I also don't get malice from this. So I don't think it was a decision made from malice. It was just a decision that was made from necessity. Spring, rotation, summer. Spring, blossoming, becoming the horizon. When spring arrives, our eyes lift from the work and we peer out the window of our laboratory. We realize Earth has been in its own transformational spin, readying itself for a new era of growth. In a state of wonder, the alchemist sets aside the work of winter and opens the door, stepping into spring. When this card arrives, it indicates a blossoming, a coming into one's own. It's generation time. You may be dreaming up a business plan, humming a new melody, or flirting with a special someone. Spring is the season of the east, where the sun rises and lights the world. You do not have to work on anything during this phase. Let the energy of the season push through. You made it through winter, and the bulbs burst on their own. Rotation, which I believe had a similar message about doing the same thing over and over, actually producing results, whether or not it feels like it. The wheel, monotony, cycles. Rotatio is the great alchemical operation of the wheel. Through its circularity, it indicates that work performed again and again and again produces results. It reminds us our efforts are cumulative, not singular, nor is the work ever fixed or finished. Rather, the alchemist rises each day to tend to the laboratory, to weave their work into the world. It is the epitome of the alchemical axiom, idem mutata resurgo. Although changed, I arise the same. This operation is expressed through images of the circle, the spiral, the Ouroboros, and the wheel. By its non hierarchical shape, we are tossed back into the spin just when we thought we had figured it all out. Though this stage can be frustrating and cause a fair amount of restlessness, it is at the heart of all spiritual practices. Summer. The way that these cards are laid out, where we start out in spring and it's saying, hey, just slow down and trust that it's going to get somewhere. And then we have rotation that's also saying, even if you're just doing the same thing, you feel like you're just spinning your wheels in place, you are making progress. And then it progresses into summer, I think is pretty interesting. Fullness, vitality, sensuality. To experience summer is to be embodied. The summer air kisses every crevice of our body, opening us up in ways long forgotten. Lust, desire, laughter, sweat, physicality, these are all expressions of summer's fullness shining through. When this card appears, know that the senses are heightened and the work is nearing full expression. It may feel as though things are electrified or about to burst. Keep in mind that, like all the alchemical seasons, summer will soon pass. For now, everything in your narrative is fleshed out and the story has just another chapter or two until it begins again. So revel in this time of ripening and rhythm. Celebrate, gather, connect. Whether the season is literal or metaphorical, let yourself be swept into the pulse of these hot and heavy nights. I also just heard someone say guilt. Actually, now that I think about it, the way that the cards are laid out with all this anguish and then all of a sudden the Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles. It almost feels also like guilt moving forward. So let's put it like this. Let's say you had to put down your dog and you feel guilty and horrible about it, but you know that it was the right thing to do because the dog was suffering. And then the next day you have a birthday party to attend. And you have to put up a, happy front and act like everything is fine. But you keep having flashbacks of the dog. And inside you're still grieving, you're still mourning, but your feet are dragging you forward because life goes on, whether we're ready for it to or not. That's what this feels like. And I wish that I could pull more cards and get more clarity and tell you where you're going and how it's going to go and all of that. But this doesn't seem like the time for that. This seems like the time for sitting with your feelings. And maybe you just needed somebody that can empathize with them. But it's human nature to need a period of suffering sometimes. As in, when things happen, we can't talk ourselves out of the pain. We can't rationalize our way out of what we feel. We have no choice but to feel them until they fade on their own. And that's what rotatio is about, right? Doing the same thing, not really feeling like you're getting anywhere, but you are. And you will with time. Well, Sagittarius, this was a wild reading. Thanks for making my deck explode. And you'll be okay with time. This is just part of the human experience. As I like to call it, sitting through the suck. Sitting through the suck, but we can't choose whether or not we suffer, but we can always choose what we suffer for. And this feels like you're suffering for the right reasons. You're suffering for the right reasons. And sometimes even just knowing that helps a little bit. So I hope this resonated. And if it did, like, share, comment to help me out with the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button and the notification button so that you get notified every time I post a video. And I will see you in the next one.